Open data. Everyone sitting to my left is an expert in some respect on either open data, governance, data manipulation. And I think I'll just start right off with a question that Paul instructed me to ask, which is, how can we as a society, frankly speaking, a society that is given to, our middle name ought to be Rumorville, jumps to conclusions. We're very taken to forming very firm and fast and serious conclusions about people, about things, about business, with minimal data. How do we move from that to a data-driven society? And how does open data help us in that, right? And I'll also ask you to introduce yourself as you answer the question, and I'll start with my immediate left, Kamodo Iganjo from the CIC.
My name is Kamodo Oiganjo. I work for the CIC, the Commission for Implementing the Constitution. There's an old cliche that says that information is power. The converse is also true, that he who controls information controls power, and who has no information is powerless. And it is with this view in mind that you'll notice that one of the greatest innovations of our new constitutional framework is the requirement of state agencies, government, to share information with the public for several reasons. One is, of course, that data and ability of citizens to access data ensures accountability, the building of accountability mechanisms. So if you want a country where leaders, governors are held to account, the citizens need information, because without information, they're able to see what is the basis of decisions. When decisions go wrong, all the information is available. At another level, the Constitution really enforces the whole concept of public participation. And the citizenry cannot participate if they do not have data. There's a very interesting process that went on in about the last month, I think 2 months, where most county governments were going through their budget-making processes. I attended at least 2 of those sessions, and you could tell that 95% of the participants had no basis to make the decisions that they were making. There was very little information, especially in some counties. And so again, if you want people to be effectively involved in participation, if participation is not just so that people attend sessions, but you've already made decisions, you must avail data. So all this, including the need to have ownership in decisions, is very, very important. If people do not have information, if they don't feel that they own decisions that you make on the basis of whatever information you hold as a monopoly. So those are some of the things we need to have at the back of our minds as we talk about, therefore, what sort of data then, what is the mode of transmitting data, what kind of data do we transmit so that citizens are able to do those 3 and other things.
Thank you, Komodo. I'll move right along. Introduce yourself and comment on the same question.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Finch. I work with the World Bank here in Nairobi. I work on devolution and also on citizen participation. So this is a topic that's very close to what I do on a daily basis or try to support in Kenya. I wouldn't say that, I don't think the World Bank, sometimes we preach, and I certainly don't have direct answers for the question, but I think just a couple points I would make, building on what Kamotho just said. And the first point is, information, absolutely, there needs to be transparency of information. But I think one thing that we're seeing a lot with traffic to Kenya's open data portal, to some of the work that the World Bank's disseminating where there seems to be demand, is that what's really important is comparative data. So are you able, through the data, to compare how your service delivery is performing? So do we have platforms that really enable you to compare performance on a set of agreed metrics or results? I don't know if I can show a couple slides on this. So So this is just a this is a slide of poverty levels across all 47 counties, and I think the second point that I would just make, building on Mugo's question, is to what extent does this kind of metric get built into the planning and budgeting process, whether it's at the national level or at the county level? So I don't at all pretend that these are the ultimate slides that talk about. There's many other slices of available data, but I think the second point is, how can the work that many different Kenyan organizations are doing get injected when those discussions and debates are taking place? So when county assemblies, when the budget and economic committees at the county level are discussing the plans and the budgeting, do they have access to some of the work that's being done on comparative data? I have a lot more to say, but I'll stop there.
Kenya for quite some time has not been able to focus keenly on its mineral resource. Basically because our economy, from independence, if I say, we have been relying on agriculture and tourism to drive or to put through our economy. But increasing population, climate change, and increase in insecurity has impacted very highly on those two sectors, agriculture and tourism. And hence, let me say the last 5 years, focus has been on the mineral potential of the country as an alternative to driving our economy.
Data for us as a telecommunication provider is our blood. We are constantly, our job is to move data from one point to another point. With the IP convergence, data is not only data, it can be voice, can be anything, messages, whatever. So when we are speaking about data, we are speaking about our core business. Okay, we defined, as a telecommunication provider, we defined 3 main tasks on data. You can maybe make a parallel with the last election process. The first one is to collect the data and to make sure we collect the right data. That's the first point. That is a lot of question already on that level. The second stage is to store the data, to be sure that the data will remain uncorrupted and will remain safe. And the third point is maybe the most important, is how to share this data. If data is knowledge and knowledge is power, the way you are sharing this data can change a lot the power of this data. Everybody knows that there are many kinds of data. You have personal data, and this one for sure, you want not that this data is shared. You need some anonymous process on this, to apply on this data. Then you have technical data, financial data. Financial data have also a big value. You think just about Reuters, for example. That is their business, to sell financial data. They are just collecting data and they are making it, they are sharing it in a way with that give value added to this data. So the raw data and the way you share the data can change, in fact, the usability of the data.
I think my friend, what they're talking about is how important the data, how they can provide a service through the data. But we are more on the technical side. How make sure you can have equipment or solution to make sure you have a right or cost-effective way to save that data and make sure there's access control and also give more fast access to the public to access the data. You see, if you have data is very important and you have so many data to be managed. So I think the government or the public sector, what should do is to collect, the data structurally or unstructurally to put in one, places or one area, and also to bring a policy to access have some access control to the public, then later to share with different public sector or private sector. Which, I want to use, for example, I have an accident 1 year ago in just in front of State House Road. My car was stopped, and one car crashed me, and later he just ran away. So you could not search this people who is there and the car number is there, because even you have car number, you cannot maybe find where's the car, because you don't have system who have storage all the car. Because for example in China, I give you example, once you have car accident, whatever you go anywhere, they will find the car, because they can call the police immediately in the next road cross to stop that car. So you can see the information or data sometimes is very important. I think in Kenya, we see the improving, but I think we need to go faster than other countries to have a storage of the data and also share the information with the private sector and the public sector. I think luckily we have started, from Officer President in already, I think we delivered a project in 2010. How to use that and expand to that, maybe is, technical issue we need to discuss later.